Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Today is the 333rd episode of the In Your Face show. And I'm here with my main man, he's a nutritionist, he's a old bodybuilder, he world champ, the world's greatest, and he's an actor, you know what I'm saying? He's a filmist, he's in the movie industry, the film industry, same thing, And I would like to put the spotlight on this gentleman, he's been in the business for a while. Mr. James Arthur Sims. How you doing today, brother?
King Daniel, brother, I am doing absolutely spectacular, man. Absolutely.
Yes,
When
sir. Yes, sir.
all things considered, man, I got life, health, and strength. Thank God for that. And, living my dreams. And how many people can say that?
How many people can? You know what I'm saying? How many people can say that, brother? Hey, it's always good to have your strength. Always good to have your love, everything. Always good
Amen.
to have that. And that's the best way. That's the way to be about it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, man. What question? I got a question for you, man. Man, like, what inspired you to become an actor?
You know, Daniel, it has been instilled in me, man, to be honest with you, since I was a kid. I
Ah,
I did not know what it was as a kid. So as a kid, I was always an accelerated reader. I was always separated from some of the others because I could read a little bit. I was a little bit more advanced reader in all of my classes coming up, especially through elementary and middle school. And even when we get to high school, when the teachers would call out for people to read aloud in class, I'm talking, some literary works like Great Expectations that you had parts. You had somebody
mm-hmm.
who played Pitt, Miss Havisham, Macbeth, all those literary works that you had parts. I would always volunteer and I would literally act out the part as I was reading it, you know. And so teachers absolutely loved that about me, man. I would get lost in books like The Old Man and the Sea, The Call of the Wild. And I just always had an affinity for that. However, we didn't have a drama department, coming through high school or anything like that. I just liked reading. And so, fast forward to my senior year of college, I did my official, first official stage production, which was called Bus Stop. It was an original, no, I'm sorry, Fortinbras, which was a Shakespeare piece. And from that, man, my friend was like, boy, man, you got a little gift, man. You should be doing this. Did a couple more plays in my senior year of college, then, of course, graduated. Didn't think anything more of it. And went to homecoming. This is 5 years later, post graduation. And one of my frat brothers, his name is Ed Porter. He was like, "Dog, you still acting?" I was like, "No, man, I've been moving around, been working." He's like, "Dog," he's like, "When you were up there on stage, man," he was like, "That's your calling. That's what you should be doing." And I was like, "You know what? I did have a lot of fun. I did enjoy it." And so when I moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, I got involved with the local community theater and other independent groups. And from there, man, that little spark that I had just grew and grew into the love that I have now. So,
Mm, mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So, have the film industry evolved from way back then to now?
in terms of my film career, I was in corporate America for some years, and but I was still doing a lot of stage just as a hobby, just because I loved acting. And so I think over the past 12 years is when I truly started to get involved, with film and TV as a career. And it has evolved. To answer your question, yes, it has. So, in a couple of different ways. Number one, I used to have to drive to Atlanta every time I had an audition. I would get off work, drive 5 hours to Atlanta for 3 minutes, and turn around, and drive right back to North Carolina. You know, um, Number two, you had more personal one-on-one interactions with casting directors, etc. Now, COVID changed the landscape of that interaction. Everything is done primarily through self tapes. So
Mm.
every week I'm doing 3 or 4 self tapes at my local taping studio. And so you don't get a chance to have that eye to eye contact, that interaction to ask questions or anything like that. You just go for what you know, send it up and pray for the best. And then thirdly, how the landscape has changed in film. I got a chance to do a scene in BMF back in 24. It aired last year. And I got a chance to talk to Russell Hornsby, the father that was on BMF. We just
Mm-hmm.
sat there and talked. I was picking his brain. And we both agreed that the landscape has changed so much from when he started to where it is now. Meaning, it used to be about the art. It used to be about the art of acting, you know. But now it's all about content. What's interesting? If you got something
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting, people are just putting anything out there because it's content versus something that is truly artful, true writing. So it's just about getting viewership now. So those are the big differences that I've seen over the past 10, 12 years that I've been doing this.
Yeah, I feel like anybody can. Well, not anybody, but any old person. You know what I'm saying? I feel like in the industry, any old person, they just let any old person get into the industry that has views and that has, um, like I say, what you call that thing,
With followers and
followers and what you call that word? I forget the word. It's called influence,
oh yeah,
influence and everything. And it's like in every set of entertainment is always something like that. That person that didn't basically, you know, work hard like everybody else, that didn't, you know, uh do their do like push all and go crazy like everybody else, and basically didn't work hard, didn't even try to go through all of what everybody else went through.
right.
They got in there because of their money or because of their influence or because of their, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle who is, getting the bag that way. I mean, because there's so many opportunities and so many different platforms now for people, to come up. That's all and
Hmm.
well. However, I think there needs to be some sort of separation for, true artistry, true performance versus and have this platform for your influencers, etc. But right now, unfortunately, that's what it's all about, especially now with the vertical, movies, which is everything you can do on your phone, having quick concepts, something that's interesting, attention getting, and having 40 or 50 series or what do you call it, segments, but so this entertainment industry has definitely gone a different way. It's going a different route. And now with AI involved, it's changing even more. So,
Uh, yeah, I mean, but in all honesty, I feel like, AI has and people has a chance to make their content and everything better with AI. You know what I'm saying? I have this motto: make AI work for you instead of working against you. You know what I'm saying? Basically, take the basically build your business through AI. Allow AI to build your infrastructure,
yeah.
and you use that as a way to, instead of having to take years and years and years building that infrastructure. You see what I'm saying?
No, it has a
Now, yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't understand about AI. AI is very useful in a lot of ways. You just have to be able to program it in a way where it basically gives you what you need and gives you what you want. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it also has its worth. It has its bad points. Yes, it does. It has its bad points. It has its points of it has its points of not doing and going against you, and not being a tool. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Too much of anything is bad. You know what I'm saying? Too much of anything is very bad. So I truly understand what you mean. I truly understand what you mean. It
Well,
always
like I
supposed
said,
to be a balance.
yeah, I'm trying to wrap my hands around some use of it as well, man. I mean, like I said, it has its benefits. But for an actor, it could it can be detrimental to some of us. You
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's one of the things that this whole new SAG agreement, um, encompass. The use of AI, et cetera. So kinks are still being worked out.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's the best part. You know what I'm saying? Um, AI is not well, the AI that we're being exposed to. It's not like it's still a baby. Some of it is still in the development stages. Give it a
mhm.
couple more years, and it'll be right there to really take off.
Yeah, we haven't scratched the surface of what the future capabilities can be with AI. It's
Yes,
crazy.
sir. Yes, sir. And I think it could help you in a lot of ways. But if it's not done correcttly, or if it's not handled correctly, it could be done the wrong way. And so I truly get what you're saying. So, where do you see, the content that you do when it comes to your content, where do you put, where do you like put yourself in that? What category do you put yourself in?
Well, right now, man, I'm still, a babe, still a newbie as it pertains to content. Most content that I do right now is, of course, I'm also a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, as you mentioned in the introduction. And I truly have a passion as well for helping people get fit and regaining their health. I'm equally passionate about that, just like I am my acting. And so a lot of content that I do truly is about or focused towards, giving people tidbits and motivating and inspiring people to be as healthy as they possibly can. And so again, I'm still learning this. As a matter of fact, my oldest daughter, bought me one of the AI, face recognition tripods to kind of follow me, to kind of help me along that journey. So I'm still
Mm-hmm.
learning some stuff myself, man. So I'm excited to, really start putting some things out there. And I am toying right now, experimenting with the concept of doing my own type of verticals. So I'm still trying to get some different ideas, and pretty soon I think you'll start to see some different content from me on in that area as well.
Okay, okay, okay. You know, I think that, when I saw that you was in Law and Order, when I saw that you was in with Mr. Tyler Perry, I was like, I gotta have him on the show, man. This something that it just popped out at me, and when it popped out at me, I'm like, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Let me go get it. And so, what was it like, working with Mr. Tyler Perry, or working for him?
Well, I mean, it was an awesome experience, man. My um, time on set of assisted living, man, it was unbelievable. It was probably, as it pertains to fun, it was the funnest set that I had ever been on. I mean, when you think about talent, like number one, Mr. Brown, David Mann.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you
Funny,
think
funny.
about
You're one of my favorite characters.
exactly, man. When you think about, you know, um, J. Anthony Brown, those
Mm-hmm.
two together, and I listened to J. Anthony Brown way back in the day when he was on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. So became a fan then. And but from the time we sat in the makeup chair, I was in the makeup room with all of everybody that was on the set with me. Tamla Man, and we all, as we were going with our lines, I mean, we were just cracking up, man, and it was just nonstop laughter. I mean, and the welcoming and the environment from the Tyler Perry cast and crew, man. I mean, it was great. It truly was. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and to see the world class, state of the art studios that he operates and films out of, man, I was just mind blown. And but when it called action, and then of course we started getting in flow, man, it was like a dream come true. It truly was. Here I am on the stage, with these heavy hitters, and it was kind of a surreal moment for me. But it was an awesome experience, man. One that I pray that I get an opportunity to do again soon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So,
So,
you know,
okay, just to kind of add an addendum to that. So, what people fail to realize, I think, they think that when you do a Tyler Perry show, you're working directly with Tyler Perry. People have to remember that this man is a huge freaking machine. He has 100 shows, and
mm-hmm.
so he's not on set directing every one of them. He has people in place for that. While he's putting attention here. So, but again, his crew was and his other directors were representative of him, man, and they were just world class. So that was my experience. So
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, you know, what was it like, being doing your part on Law and Order?
yeah. So Law and Order, I booked actually December of 22, and I filmed it January of 23. And another surreal moment, man, being in Brooklyn, New York, filming. Um, just seeing these guys that you've seen do multiple versions of the Law and Order show, and then you're right there sitting next to them, man, and it was just again, it was a proud moment. It was truly a proud moment, and a case in point when I did my scene, as you guys, I don't know if anybody saw the episode, but Mackay, I can't think of his name, Macat. He was one of the lead detectives there, the tall black guy, and so as I did my scene, and he had to come up and they had to calm me down to trying to break the police line. He just after I did it, they called cut. He just looked at me and shook my head like, "That's good stuff, dude. Good stuff." And it just made me feel so proud, man, to know that I'm getting some kudos from these guys who've done some big projects, and gave me a brief sense of, man, I'm here. I'm here. I'm doing it, you know.
All right.
And but it was an awesome experience, man. I had just gotten over COVID the week prior, to be honest. I was diagnosed with COVID the week prior to me filming. I was scared I was going to lose it.
Ah,
I was scared I was going to lose it, man. But sure enough, they asked me how many days before my symptoms showed up. And so I still went to New York and I was tested and again. And of course, it was negative by the time I got there. And so, man, you talk about a blessing, man. It was great.
and that's that. Hey, man, God comes in time. You know what I'm saying? And when
Man,
he comes. You know what I'm saying? And may think he not gonna come, but he does.
he
And
does.
that's the best. That's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing to have that, to be able to, say that you've been in those situations where, God had to come in that instant and, save your dreams. And that's something that, that don't happen all the time,
And that's a
like,
profound testament, bro, that what God has for you is for you. You know,
sir,
and I have to remind myself of that every day because in this business, man, it's not easy. It's not easy booking. People have seen me do some notable projects and they think that I'm always booking, but that's furthest from the case. Um, in this thing called acting, I get tons of auditions every year, and I thank God for my agency that I'm with, STW Agencies, Susan Tola Walters. Um, I've been with them a little over 3 years now, and I can say I probably audition about 150 plus times a year for
man,
different movies, TV shows, commercials, etc. And so what people see me in is just not even a fraction of the effort that I put to try to book things. And so it can be a little frustrating when you have that type of numbers and your booking rate is not even 5% of your audition. And so for me, my aspiration of being a full-time immersed actor living on sets months at a time filming a series, being a series regular or and trying to manifest that to come, and when it doesn't happen, you can get a little frustrated, you can get a little down on yourself, but I have to keep telling myself what God has for you is for you, James. It's only a matter of time. You got to keep pushing because this industry can break your spirit if you allow it.
that's
So
right, that's right. And that goes with a lot of other entertainment. Oh my lord, boy, podcasting, entertainment as a whole. You know, it's a move. You have to move fast type of thing. You know, type of industry. You know, and you can't be slouchy. You can't be lazy. You know, because it'll move fast past you. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And good roles don't come along. You know, all the time. You know, and you got to get the roles that you could get. You know, to get your name out there. And I truly understand. You know, and that's the main part of being an entertainer. You know, you gotta work, and you gotta hustle your butt. You know,
yeah.
and go for what you know. You know,
Well, it is a constant grind, man. And I tell people all the time, you know, my mantra that I truly try to live by is you do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do, you know.
right.
And I truly grind every day, man. So just because you saw me on Law and Order, you saw me on Assisted Living or some other movies. I have 4 movies on Amazon airing right now. Just because you see me out there doesn't mean that I've arrived, that I've made it. No, I'm still grinding. You know, I still work a part-time job. You know, I still have my own business as a personal trainer. And both of those give me the flexibilities when I do get an opportunity to go and do my acting thing, I can. You know, but I still grind big time. So
That's right. That's right. That's something that you don't always hear. You know, that's something that people. Not everybody has that hustle mentality. You know, and not everybody is willing to go out there and put it all online. You know,
yeah,
and not everybody see. That's why I say, like, you know, everybody look at podcasting. They look at, oh, you're supposed to make some money when you such and such and such. You know, but this is a grind. You know, it takes a while to start making money. You know what I'm saying? You got the grind. Not everybody has that. The followers and the subscribers and the supporters. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody has that, and so you have to put yourself out there and go for what you know, and really fight a good fight
yeah,
with this whole thing. Just like acting, you know, you have to be able to be on your feet, be quick on your feet type of job. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And you have to go from set to set sometimes. You know what I mean? And know your lines, fast pace. You know what I'm saying? A split second. You know, if you don't know your lines, somebody else could be knowing them. You know,
absolutely.
and that's a shame. But hey, you know, you're in a business where it moves fast. So if you
Yeah.
don't know them, somebody else will know them for you.
Hey, but I'm built for this, man. That's why I'm in it because I love it. I love every aspect of it. I love every aspect from the time I get an audition till when I'm booked to getting my honey wagon or trailer and I'm sitting there going over wardrobe. I love every aspect of it, man. I truly do. You know, and so I don't mind hurrying up and wait because when I think about it, I'm like, James, you're blessed. I mean, I don't care if it's a one line. I don't care. It's an opportunity. It's a stepping stone. You know, I'm doing what I love. You know, and some people like, well, we got to sit here and we got to wait. It takes all day. No, it's part of the process. Be thankful that you're here, that you were chosen to participate in this part of the process. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and I bet you to get a lot of these parts, you had to go through that process of waiting a couple months or maybe years to get those roles and everything. You know.
well, for the most part, from the time you get an audition, you know, when we get the breakdown, usually they already have a projected film date if they're not already in process. So usually for something that's an ongoing series or something that usually if you don't hear back a week, 2 weeks, chances are you didn't get that role. Now, if it's something that is in the process of being developed, then usually it can take a few weeks to maybe a couple months before you hear something. But for the most part, like you said earlier, it's fast paced, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You have to learn. You have to know your script. You have to know your script. You have to know your script lines quick on your feet. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know it, like memorize it too, without the paper, without the lines and everything. You have to know it, and you have to know it by heart, and that's not easy to do. It's really not. Like if you're a person that forgets and really forgets and get stage fright, then acting is not yours.
Yeah.
Acting is not your thing. Stage fright, you got to get over that. The
But
stage fright is the oh my goodness, stage
that did
fright. Yeah.
happen to me one time. It happened to me one time early on in my career, man. I don't know what it was, but I think it was the first time that I was filmed in front of a big audience, like I was at the time. I'm I play the pastor. I'm marrying a couple in a movie called Princess Cut 3. And so of course I have to memorize the standard wedding vows, et cetera, some other prelude to that. And so I get out there and there's this whole room full of people looking directly at me, man. And for some reason, I just could not get it together, and had a little bit of a anxiety, if you will. That was the one and only time that has happened. I don't know what. Again, it was early on in my career, and I was just stumbling over my lines, blah blah blah. But that was a learning experience for me. But now I don't care how many people, like when I did the Wonder Years, again, I played a pastor and I was in a huge church in Atlanta when we filmed the Wonder Years, and it was just packed. But I mean, I'm on my stuff, I'm on my game, and so you definitely have to, overcome your nerves, man. You definitely have to know your lines so you're not handicapped, you know,
Hmm.
capped and trying to think about this line. You can really develop and embody the role, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That gets to that point. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to say it and say it fast, or say it slow, or say it a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And playing a character that's character that's not a part of your personality, and you have to make it your personality a little bit. And you have to, and it's hard getting out of those characters that you are in.
yeah.
Have you ever gotten to a character and it took you like a couple days just to really immerse yourself from that character?
Uh, I can't say that I have on that. Um, it's taken me maybe an hour or so to come out of the emotional state that I had to be in for the particular scene that I did. Like that's one movie that's on Amazon right now is called Young King. And Young King is a phenomenal movie, man, based on a true story of an Iraqi war veteran who his home suffering from PTSD, and I play his father in that, and there is a scene that actually the scene part of the scene was cut out. But my wife and I, who was played by Tara Riggs, she was in The Help. We had to get so emotionally involved in a particular scene where he busts through the house with a shotgun, and shoots his girlfriend who's trying to get away from him. And so we're there in the kitchen with a bunch of blood on the floor, and just in shock as to what's going on. And we had to truly embody what that would be like, and both of us, I mean, man, you talking about boohooing and all kind of emotional recall. But that scene was draining, and we did it like twice. And so, but when you do things like that, man, you have to take yourself to whatever it is that motivates you to bring that emotion out. Sometimes it can be such a dark place, that it takes a while to snap out of that. But then, after some time, you able to get back to reality. But that was probably one of the most emotionally draining scenes that I done that took me to a place of darkness. That took me, you know, um, a short period of time to get out of. I would say about an hour or so because we had to keep going. So
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So when it comes to being an actor, man, do people come up to you and ask for your autograph and be like, "Oh yeah, I saw you in that movie. I saw you in this movie. I saw you in that movie."
Well, I don't get the autograph stuff just yet, to be honest. I do get people to come up to me all the time and ask me, "Hey, were you in such and such?" It just happened Sunday at my church.
Oh, wow.
It just happened Sunday at my church, and young lady came up to me as we're going into church, and I'm standing there talking to one of the congregants, and she said, "Hey, were you in the movie Instant Family?" I was like, "Yeah, that was me." She's like, "I knew it. I knew." I told my girlfriend. She thought I was crazy, you know.
Oh,
I
man.
used to get that a lot, and also I work part time at the hospital, and a lot of people don't know me personally at the hospital, but I'm walking around doing different things, and I get nurses and different staff come up to me, "Hey, I saw you in that. Were you the one I saw in that commercial?" You know, and so it's always cool when I get that, and they always say, "Hey, I want to get your autograph." I was like, "Well, you know me, I got it anytime." So, but no, it's always cool just being recognized, man, for your work, and it's always a humbling experience for me, man. I mean, I love it, and it's a wonderful feeling.
Well, yeah, being told, "Are you in that? Yeah, I love you in that movie." Even if you get the bad stuff, the people coming up to you like, I don't like you because you did this and you was like that," and I'm like, it should be humbling because people at least get to see you doing your God's gift, the gift that God has given you, man, and being able to, become something and come out of it, and it's awesome, man. I would love to do that type of work, and I mean I can. It's just gotta have to get that opportunity, but don't worry about
Pretty
it.
soon, brother, man, you're gonna be recognized for your podcast around the world. So, people gonna be recognizing you, trying to get your attention. So absolutely, it's coming.
Hey, I'm not really really worried about much of that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I do it for God. I do it for the people, and eventually, of course, I'm gonna be recognized for what I do. But as long as I put God first, yeah, that's all that matters. As long as God is first, that's all that matters to me. You know.
There you go, bro. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I got a question for you, man. How do you feel about, the industry? Where do you feel, where do you see yourself, 20 years? Matter of fact, where do you see yourself 5 years from now
5 years from now,
in the filming industry?
honestly, I expect to be a season regular, if not one, a couple different um, series, couple different shows, and that's my immediate goal right now. To be on a season regular and also having been a lead man in some major film.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's
Those,
that's
those are my two.
uh,
I'm talking big budget type of films. Those are my two goals within the next 5 year period of time. For James Arthur Sims to truly be placed on the map as a seasoned Hollywood ATL Wood heavy hitting actor. So.
hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Okay, okay. I got a question. I got a tricky question. Now you're gonna have to be really pay attention to this question, right?
Mhm.
If there was a time in world history that you would want to go to and and just basically be there and just witness, what would that be?
Hmm. A time in world history that I want to go and just be a witness to what was going on at the time. Oh, that's a good question, man. Never thought about that. I think because I'm a good old country boy, man, and so I'm a good old country boy originally from Augusta, Georgia, and valuing property like I do now and land. I would want to be at a period of time where, and it would probably be, now, would I be this age at that period or
And you can be your age, you can be any age you want.
so I would like to be at a period of probably maybe in the 70s.
I
You know,
knew it. That's mine too.
yeah, there was a lot of things going on in the 70s, man, that number one could I would love to have had the experiences from. Number two, being who I am now, having a little bit knowledge, could have made some decisions that would have set me and my family up, to have a nice legacy. Um, because when you think of the disco era, the 70s, we had a lot of the freedom of the African Americans really started to take place in the 70s, just freedom to be who you were. Um, Number two, I mean, things were so much cheaper then. There was so many opportunities that were developing, for African Americans during that time. And I would have loved to have just been able to snatch up acreage of land, to have a legacy for my family and do what I love and also just participate in the things that were going on at the time. And it would have allowed me to be a trailblazer as well.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's something to really, think about. Yeah, and because, you could go back and you can experience anything, and you could just, if you was a telepathic person, you could go back and you can experience anything in the world that happened, and you can see things. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something to really, really think about. Something to really, because whether we know it or not, you know what I'm saying. You know, if we didn't experience it, we couldn't really fathom what the other people went through
Right,
when it was there. Like
right.
I always tell my dad, I always wanted to go see what was it like in the '70s. How it was done and how I think I would have thrived in the '70s because of the way it was, how it was so golden era type, and how it was so so slow, so so cool and so nice, and everybody wore bell bottoms, afros, and
Yeah. Now, I was born in 70, but I was a child of the 70s. I didn't know what was going on. You're oblivious and
right,
naive.
right, right, right,
You have to be older in the 70s to really experience those things.
right. True that, true that, true that. Very understandable. Very understandable. What was it like, to be, a like what is it like to be a veteran in the being a bodybuilder? What is it like being a bodybuilder? What it used to be like being a bodybuilder?
So I would tell you this, man. I was a I was always a husky guy. That was a term that we used when you grew up. You shop in the husky set because I was a big, heavy set guy. And but eventually started playing high school football, and then of course I was a collegiate football player too. Graduated from Elizabeth City State University where I played football, and so I was athletic and I had a decent figure. But as we get older and we graduate, you get a career, you get married. Next thing you know, I was at my heaviest. Um, Back before 2007, my heaviest was about 250 something. I was wearing about a 244 waist pants or something like that, and just completely obese. I can show you pictures. Now I actually have some posted on my page. And I was a pharmaceutical rep, selling drugs, marketing to doctors for people who had cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes. All the while, here I am just living high on the hog, as they say, man. And just my weight getting out of control. My cholesterol was through the freaking roof.
Oh man.
So my initial transformation came as a necessity because my
Hmm.
doctor sat me down and said, if you don't take some medicine, you're a walking time bomb. You're gonna walk around and have a heart attack or a stroke, you know. And so that was the catalyst for me changing my life over. Now, I never thought about bodybuilding. That was 2007. I never thought about bodybuilding at all, man. I just wanted to lose weight, get healthy. Of course, I was doing stage plays. I wanted to get look good enough where I could take my shirt off in a stage play, and be
Mm-hmm.
one of those, eye candy guys. And so fast forward 5 years later, I was working part time, and some of my colleagues had competed, and so they talked me into doing my first show in 2012. Knew nothing about bodybuilding whatsoever. That show, I mean, I don't think I did was diet. I did cardio. I wasn't even eating to be a bodybuilder. Lost a lot of weight. I got down to 173 pounds. Did my first show in
Good evening,
2012.
Miss Mississippi. Miss
Huh?
Mississippi. I said Mississippi 0309 said good evening. Good evening.
Oh, good evening. And but I won my first show. I won every category I was in except for overall show because I was so green. I was a novice. I really didn't know how to pose that well, you know.
Mm.
And then of course after 2012, fast forward a few years, um, health and fitness became a part of my blood, you know. And then after I started, you know, offering personal training services at my church for free because I thought it was a necessity. I wanted to get that accolade as a personal trainer. And so I wanted to get my professional bodybuilding pro card, and which I, over the course of several years, did a few shows until I became a pro. And it's amazing, man. I think everybody should try to compete once in their life just to see what it's like. It's not an easy task. I mean, you got to go through months of strict dieting, a consistent exercise program. You got to be disciplined, and to see how your body responds and transforms, to see what that final product is when you're on stage and you just see the striations of your muscle. You can see the product of your hard work and labor, man. It is phenomenal to get to that point, you
Mm.
know. And I'm not in a bodybuilding form now, but I can say that it's taught me discipline. It's taught me focus. It's taught me what it's like to want something so bad that you put blinders on, to everything around you to achieve this goal, you know. And when I'm up on stage, I'm not there just to say I competed in the show. I'm there to win. I'm not trying to put myself through rigorous workouts and strict dieting just to stand up on the stage and pose, you know. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's a wonderful, wonderful accomplishment, man. And I got actually a lot of my trophies right next to me of different competitions I've won, which I've done a total like 4 competitions over the years. And each one, man, has taught me a lesson. And again, it's gotten me in the frame of mind now to where health is at the forefront of everything I do for the most part.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. True that. True that. True that. Yeah. Okay. In the comments it says it's Swanee. LOL.
Smarty, what's up, sweetheart? That's
Hey,
one of
hey,
my
hey.
coworkers.
That's who?
One of my coworkers at the hospital.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. Hey, if you would like to come on the show, let me know. If you got anything you want to promote, come on. We can promote it for you. You know. But hey, Miss Swanee, if you would like to please like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, to get all that is in your face. So I got merch coming out very soon. So you might want to get your hands on it when it comes out. Thank
Nice.
you. Also, too, man, what was it like? What is it like being a personal trainer? You get to deal with the people. You get to deal with the honeys. You know what I'm saying? The honeys. Also, you also get to deal with help people build their body types in the way they want to want it. And what is it like?
So I would tell you this. So I got in this business, bro, because I saw what health and fitness did to turn my life around, right? First and foremost. Then number two, as a pharmaceutical rep, I sold drugs for doctors, pushed drugs for 10 years with 3 different pharmaceutical companies, right? Again, disease states such as diabetes, cholesterol, hypertension, osteoporosis, allergy, asthma, and one thing that people as the Bible said, we suffer for lack of knowledge. Right?
Mm-hmm.
People use medicines as a vice to continue to live unhealthily, to continue eating fried chicken or all the barbecue or all these pastries, and all the while having diabetes. And well, I took my insulin, so my blood sugar's okay, so I can still have this. I'm like, come on. And I saw that a lot, even in my own family, you know. And so I really got in this business, man, because I have a passion to help people turn their lives around, show them that there's an alternative. You don't have to constantly take drugs. There are some things that are not necessary. Now, I do believe that drugs have a place, you know, um, for detrimental circumstances to help get you back on track until you can do it through your own means, you know. But for chronic issues like diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, those are things that can be controlled or turned around through lifestyle modifications. However, we live in such a microwave society. We want everything quick, fast, and in a hurry. We want an instant fix for everything, and so we will rely on drugs a lot of times. you know and so but I tell people all the time, I used to do a lot of posts, that my purpose is to educate, motivate, and inspire the general public to be as healthy as they can. You know, when I started the fitness ministry at my church, because there were a lot of people, what's one of the unhealthiest organizations there are? Church.
Church.
We have repasses. Somebody just died from a heart attack or stroke, but yet at the repast, you got fried chicken, all these desserts and sweet teas, etc. When you have, cookouts or different activities, it's a bunch of candy and a bunch of high fat foods, high sugary foods. And so that's that's where I developed my passion to helping people, and I've been doing it as a certified personal trainer. COVID is what drove me into doing it as a full-time opportunity. Um, but to go further into your question, people are very fickle when it comes to their health, right? We will make time, we would spend money to do anything that we want to do. But when it comes to our bodies, we put it on the back burner at the snap of a finger. Right?
Mm.
Now, people have to realize that your body is a temple. This should be the biggest investment that you make. You can't do anything without health and strength, right? You can't take care of anybody if you're sick or suffering from diabetes. You can't go anywhere if you're, well, I'm tired, or I'm this or that, I'm not feeling well, or I got to go see the doctor for this, you know. And also, if you're a little bit more physically fit, people need to realize that you can bounce back faster than the average person who's not. Say, for instance, you get in a car accident. Well, by you being physically fit, you can rebound from that quicker than someone who's not. People
Mm.
who, during the COVID, during the pandemic, people who were dying, who were the first people that were dying or succumbing to COVID?
Older people
Older
and
people,
people with disabilities and
disability,
people with that are obese.
obesity, pre-existing
Hmm.
conditions.
And
Those are the
people
ones who
that
come into COVID,
people also that have low immune systems.
right? And those who were healthier were overcoming, right? So I tell people all the time that because of what I do, it doesn't guarantee me any longevity of life.
Hmm.
Nobody knows the day or hour that we're going to be called home. You know,
Hmm.
however, what being fit does guarantee is a better quality of life, that while you're here, you can do things more efficiently. You can do things without, always being sick or being restricted or having people to do things for you. That's the reason why we do what we do in terms of health and wellness and fitness. And but going back to my statement that people are fickle, people, when they realize that just by showing up at the gym, the fat doesn't fall off, that you got to put forth a concerted effort. You have to work for it. Not only with me in that gym for 45 minutes to an hour, 2, 3 times a week, but it takes place every day because when you go home, when nobody's watching, what are you putting in your mouth? What are you going to the grocery stores and buying? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so they have to realize that it's a complete lifestyle modification, and they fall off the wagon a lot, man, because they don't have the self discipline or the true commitment or that why. Why do I need to do this in the first place? You know, it's not important enough to them to stay on track. And so the majority of my clients actually going to the honeys. I don't have a whole lot of honeys. Most of my people, I love them. My people are great. I have some people who've been with me 2, 3 years. Some people it's like a revolving door, man. They come after a couple months, they go for whatever reasons. Um, but most of my people they come because they need work. You know, they need to drop 30, 40, 50 pounds, you know,
Fit in
and
that dress, huh?
to fit in that dress, to get off that
Fit
blood
that tuck.
medication, you know, or whatever the case may be, man. And but I'm always happy to oblige them no matter what, because you know I love people. I love helping to try to motivate them to get them to see that they can turn their circumstances around. So yeah. So I'm not in one
Yeah.
of those gyms that you got all this, you know, the nice honeys that come in with the what is it called? All the leggings and booty lifters. And I had a couple of those come through, but when they realized they had to put in some work to get that BB, that big booty, you know, or to get that small waist that they're going to have to cut back on some things, you know, their tenure was short lived. They didn't want to hear the real. You know, so well, I'm just going to go to Brazil and get me a BBL. I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, then, you know,
Yeah. They don't want to work for it. You know what
they
I'm
don't.
saying? Like, and that's a shame because, you know, what if and here's the kicker, you know, as you get older, what if that it's like silicone. The silicone gets saggy, you know what I'm saying? It gets more saggier than regular titties and shit like that, or regular ass. If you look at Kim Kardashian, as she got older, that thing was looking saggy. That thing was looking nasty, you know?
Yeah. And the
So,
number one reason why they shouldn't, because it does nothing for your freaking health. Yeah, you may look
hmm
aesthetically pleasing depending on how extreme you go for a brief season, but it's not doing anything for your health. And then a lot of times it's disproportionate to their legs because they don't work out, you know,
hmm
and you know, still they're eating unhealthily and still destroying the internal organs. And then when stuff like that leaks, you know, it just looks crazy, man. It's just crazy.
and that's honestly the price you paid for wanting to go the easy route and trying to, you know, basically you're handicapping yourself,
Yeah,
you know, and you know, taking the easy route. And that's like saying, okay, you know, I lost my hair, so I want to go get surgery. Okay, go get surgery. But what if it takes you a long time? What if you did it, you know, to do to what if you look up the shit to grow your hair back? What if you learn and put in the work into, you know, learn all the nutritional things to put in your hair to make your hair grow back. You
right.
know.
It takes time, but it's so worth it for your overall well-being. Look, man, I've gone to the Dominican Republic, you know, a couple times over the past few years, and I'm always tripping because I'm seeing these women getting on planes coming back, you know, obviously they've had work done, sitting on pillows, and I'm just like just shaking my head, man. It's just shaking my head, man. It just looks ridiculous, man.
Yeah, because you know they see all these celebrities and they see this is how people work. You know what I'm saying? They see these facades. They see, you know, just like the men. They see men with the big Johnsons, and you know what I'm saying? They be like, I want that. And some men, you know, they get surgery. Some men they do certain shit to get it. But you know, just like women, they look at these facades, they look at this fake fictitious world, and they want all of that, but they realize, you know what I'm saying, you can't have nobody else's life. You know, that's their life. You know, and then realize that when things start coming down, you're like, why? Because it was fake.
Right. Right.
Like, what are you know what I'm saying? And that's why you don't instead of working for it, you want to work for everything, you know what I'm saying? You want to work for everything you want in life, you know what I'm saying? Because it's so worth it. You ain't gotta bug nobody to get it for you. You ain't gotta do nothing illegal to get it. You got it yourself. You earned it and everything.
Oh, how's the saying go? Anything worth having is worth waiting for and working for.
Yeah,
Man, I'm telling you, it is so true. It is so true. So,
yeah. Just like when you told me, you know what I'm saying? Eventually people will start coming up to me, noticing hey, noticing me for my work. Hey man, I dreamed of it, it's gonna happen, but you know what? Um, you know, um, as long I say it like this, I do this for God. I do this for just to see people overcome their odds and just to see people win. That's really why I do it. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as people is winning and as long as people is overcoming the odds and seeing people happy, that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. To me. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly.
how many years do you see yourself still acting? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself retiring, or do you see yourself, keep going fat, going blazing the trail?
Hey man, how old is Morgan Freeman now? Was it like 85, 90 years old? Still going.
Yeah,
Look, what the woman that got her break in Wakanda, what was she like 80, upper 80s or something like
I
that?
think so. Yeah, I think
You
so.
know? So, acting is one of those things, man, where you can look at Cicely Tyson,
Mhm, mhm,
you
mhm.
Marla Gibbs,
Uh
you
huh.
know, still going strong. Well, no, Cicely Tyson, she died.
Marla Gibbs died too.
Okay, because I've been seeing her face a lot, with Regina King, so I didn't notice she had died. But still, look how long that they kept going, you
I
know,
think they died. I think one of them died. I don't know, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying though.
and and so man, it's one of those things that you can keep going and going and going, as long as you feel the passion and the ability to do so. And so I found something that, like I said, I love, man. I love it with a passion. And I say unfortunately because I really didn't know what I wanted to do until later in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do until once I started really pursuing this as a career around 2010, I believe. Yeah, 2010 is when I really started trying to dabble, in film as a career. And so I was in my 40s.
Mm.
I'll be 56 in March,
Oh
you know.
man.
And so I didn't know what I want to do until later in life. Imagine if I had put forth, you know, effort and, studied and really put my best foot forward a little bit earlier where I could possibly be now. But again, I'm a firm believer, man, that, what God has for me is for me. Everything is in, God's time. And but I plan on doing this, man, until I can't anymore, you know, and
So be it.
because I love what I do, man. I love every aspect of it, like I said earlier. And so yeah, until I help bring up some other people along with me. That's what it's all about. So
Right. That's right. Right. So, how do you love the show? Do you like the show?
it's great, man. Great platform, great energy, great conversation, and so no, absolutely, man. Hats off to you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, would you like to come back someday soon?
Man, absolutely. Whenever you just let me know, bro.
Okay, okay, okay. Hey, I'm coming out with merchandise, and I would love to, what I'm saying, maybe show it to you when we get off of here, and maybe when it comes out, you want to pick up a few things.
Man, absolutely. I'm always supporting, always about supporting our brothers and sisters, man. So absolutely.
Well, Thank you, sir. It means the world to me. It means a lot to me. It also means the world to me too to see people supporting me, supporting the show, and thank y'all for watching because we all grown. We're growing together. And in your face nation, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna win this. We're gonna become one and be great. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for watching. It's been well. It's been
Uh,
there in your face show.
in your face, baby.